Hello, everyone. Welcome to my March 2020 online workshop. So I'm just going to adjust my volume. I've been having some trouble getting my sound set up today. So hopefully the sound is okay for you guys. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. I'll just give everybody a few minutes. I hope that this is going live in my event. Doing this whole event thing and streaming to events is a little bit new to me, and I'm trying to use StreamYard to do it as well. So as you pop on, if you want to say hello so I know that you're here and hopefully that I'm in the right place, that would be awesome. So today I am going to be working with the Hello Beautiful stamp set and some of Stampin' Up's beautiful decorative masks. And oh, hi, Catherine. This is actually the cards I'm creating today are a bit of a case from something that I just saw online by Melody Hyde, one of Stampin' Up's like in-house designers. And it was just such a cool technique that I wanted to share it with you guys and show you a few other ways that we can work with it and use it. So I'm going to switch over so that it's just my desktop, so you guys have a really good view of what's going on. And let's start creating. We're going to make 3 cards today. The supplies that you would need, like the paper and embellishments and everything, you can actually get those from me with a $60 order. So like the video today will be recorded and you can come back and watch it and make these 3 cards. And I'm also throwing in a free pack of spritzers with any $60 order during this workshop. So there is a shopping link in the description of this video. And then I'm also doing a prize draw to give away the 3 cards that I make today. So you can enter in that. All right, let's get started. Oh, no, that's not how we do it. There we go. Awesome. And yeah, Catherine, if you can let me know as well about the sound. I'm just not sure if it's echoey or what's going on. I was having a lot of trouble today, which is, it was kind of strange. All right, so today we're going to be using these 2 products, and I'm using these kind of larger stamps that that like create solid backgrounds. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and the first thing I'm going to do is actually bring in some shimmery white cardstock. So this shimmery white cardstock is great. It has like a little bit of a shine to it, but it also is just a little bit more like, I don't know, waterproof, let's say, than a piece of basic white cardstock. All right, so I'm also going to bring in my Stampin' Pierce mat and just a piece of scrap paper. So I've got my Stampin' Pierce mat there, and then a piece of scrap paper because I am going to be stamping off the edges as I do this. And let's see here. I'm going to start with my Magenta Madness. Oh, so good. Thank you, Rondi. Excellent. All right, so I am going to be using some of our in colors, our 2020 to 2022 in colors, because these guys are retiring. We have a new catalog that will be coming out in May. And when it does, we'll get 5 new colors, and these 5 colors will retire. So it's our Magenta Madness, Bumblebee, Misty Moonlight, Just Jade, and Cinnamon Cider. So they are going to be gone. So I'm stamping this nice big solid image in my Magenta Madness. And it looks like I actually need to re-ink this. But this will be fine for today's technique. And I'm going to stamp these kind of as close together as I can. And I am going to cover my entire piece of shimmery cardstock with this pattern. So my shimmery cardstock I have cut down to 4.5 by 3.5 so that it's going to go nicely on a card front. All right, and then actually I didn't do this on my sample one, but I think I'm going to do it on this one. I'm going to turn these sideways and do them in different directions just to get a little bit of a different look going. There we go. All right, and a few more. So you definitely want some kind of scrap or something on your desktop to protect it, because we've got this these bits going off the edges, and you don't want to get Magenta Madness ink all over your desk. That would be a real challenge to clean, that's for sure. Okay, so that one might have been too close. Oh well. And actually, I'm going to flip that around like that so it fits a bit better. There we go. So now that we have our whole card front filled in with this pattern, I am going to grab my mask, and actually I'm going to use, oh, good morning, Noelle. Good morning, Eva. I'm going to use this mask, and I'm going to place it over top of the image that I just stamped. So I am kind of looking at where these are lining up and trying to line them up so that it's visually appealing to me. And I can also use the pattern to make sure it's like straight. So with that all lined up, I'm going to grab one of my spritzers, and these come in a 2-pack. So I actually have one filled with water and one filled with rubbing alcohol. So this one's filled with water, and what we're going to do is just from a bit of a distance, I'm going to spray this with water. And once I have the whole thing sprayed, I'm actually going to immediately lift that, grab a piece of paper towel that I should have had a little bit handier, and just quickly press down and lift straight up. All right, now we're going to let that sit for just a moment, and the pattern is actually going to come out a little bit more. While we're letting that sit, I'm going to dry this up so I don't get stuff wet all over my desk. And there we go. All right, and we're going to create a few more backgrounds using this exact same technique. Oh, hi, Lynn. All right, so this paper is quite wet, so I'm going to set it off to the side. I'll use it for my spritzing on the next one, but I'm not going to use it right now for my stamping. I don't want to get my next paper wet. So I've got another paper in exactly the same size, 4.5 by 3.5. And this time I'm going to stamp using my Misty Moonlight. And I've got one of those other shapes from the Hello Beautiful stamp set. And I'm going to do literally the same thing. I'm going to cover my whole background using this one stamp. And then I'm actually going to grab a different mask to go over top of this. All right, so here we go. And this one I'm actually going to keep all in one direction. I'm not going to switch them around because these ones actually nest into each other really nicely. And just one little one there on the end. There we go. So this is again, this is Misty Moonlight. It's one of the other soon to be retiring in colors. And I think it's my favorite of them. Oh, thanks, Noelle. I had actually never seen it before either. Melody Hyde, who actually works like at the Stampin' Up offices to create like the designs that go in the catalogs, she showcased this yesterday, and I figured probably a lot of people don't follow her, and so I thought I would share the technique as well. And because yeah, it's such a beautiful, fun one, and just wait till you see like all 3 cards at the end, because you can get really some fun looks. And there's one other way. The next card, I'm actually not going to stamp a solid image. I'm going to do it just a little bit differently. The last card is my own kind of creation. All right, so here we go again. I've got that stamped, and I'm actually just going to switch out papers and bring in my wet one again, so I get just one paper wet. For this one, I am going to throw polka dots over top of it, because we have, currently we have, I think, 3 different mask packets. We have 1 in our mini catalog and 2 in our main catalog. So there's lots of patterns that you can use to do this technique. So again, I'm just going to make sure that's like lined up how I want it. And then my paper towel's ready. Good. So I'm going to spritz this. And then immediately lift it, press down with my paper towel, because I don't want it to like start to bleed everywhere. All right, and then we'll set that one off to dry. I'll clean this one up. So this one, I did get a little bit of blue ink on my mask, so it's extra important right now that I clean that up so I don't end up with blue on my next project. All right, so that's all dry and cleaned up. I'll set that to the side. We'll bring in our nice fresh paper again. And the last one, actually the last one I can't stamp yet because I'm not going to use an actual stamp to do my stamping for my last one. The stamp set that I'm using is the Hello Beautiful, but it actually comes with a coordinating die set, and it's the Beautiful Shapes dies. And these things are so beautiful. I love the hexagons, and I especially love this little double hexagon. We can create the coolest mask using this little hexagon, and then we're going to use that mask to create our solid image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. I've got a piece of just basic white. You could use any color. I've got just a piece of basic white cardstock here. It's 3.5, just like my shimmery paper is, but then I've cut it just slightly longer because this is just, it's just going to be a mask. So I'm going to start with my hexagon right in the center, and I've done it so that my my vertical lines here are parallel to my 3.5-inch edges. And I'm going to pop this onto my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, which, in case you didn't know, is on sale right now, 20% off, you guys. So I think it's $65 for this little guy now. So I'm going to pop him on right here, right in the center, and roll this through. There we go. Now, with that done, that's going to pop out 2 cute little hexagons that we're going to save for another project another day. And then I'm going to line up, let's see if I can get this so you guys can really see what I'm doing. I'm going to take those hexagons that I've already got on there, and I'm going to line up this die cut so that I've got just a slight little border between the ones that I already cut and the next one. And I'm going to roll that through a second time. There we go. And then bring that back around, pop out those little hexagons. And so you can see I'm starting to create like a honeycomb here. And then I'm just going to save all these extra hexagons because they'll be cute on a little project later. All right. And we're going to keep doing this until we've got kind of the pattern that we'd like to have. So I think, do I want to go up that way or do I want to come in this way? I think I want to come in this way. All right, because yeah, I think I want to create like a diagonal on here. So you kind of play around with this, get it exactly how you want it for creating the pattern. You can also use a bigger mask if you want. Hi, Shirley. I'm using this one because it's 3.5 inches wide, so it'll fit in my mini, which is what I happen to have here at my desk right now. My big guy is on the other side of the room being used for some big projects right now. So I've got my mini. All right, now I've got that going on. I'm going to come in here and go down like that. And again, I'm just leaving that little border. And you can use washi tape to hold this in place if you're worried about getting it exactly lined up. I'm not too worried because there's going to be a lot going on. So it's not going to matter too much. All right, that one done. I think we'll do one more cut just to finish off like kind of the diagonal. Now, if these guys get stuck in there, you can either use a paper piercer to poke them through, or if you just drop your die on your table, they tend to pop out. All right, and the last one here. So I did think about making this template before, but I wanted you guys to see how I created it because it's such a cool use of these dies. All right. Last one, here we go. Roll that one through. Put my money away now because we have got our template created. All right, there we go. So I have a whole stack of hexagons off to the side now. Let's move this out of the way, and I'll put this little guy away. We're going to use some of the other shapes in here to create some labels afterwards. So with this created, I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Pierce mat again and my paper that I'm using to protect the background. I'm going to bring in my piece of shimmery white paper cut at 4.5 by 3.5, and I'm going to take this template that I just created and I'm going to lay it down. I'm going to try and make sure that I'm getting it centered. I'm going to lay it down over top and just double check the edges there. Yeah. Okay, good. I have good edges there. Now I'm going to hold this in place with some tape. You can use washi tape, regular Scotch tape, like whatever you have on hand, because the tape is just going down on our template, not onto your shimmery white. Okay, so that's just going to hold that in place. And then I'm going to grab my bumblebee, my whole bumblebee ink pad, and I am going to actually apply this ink pad directly to my mask. Now I am going to watch to make sure I'm not going too far off the edges because I don't want to get like big line marks off. Oh, but I do want to go a little bit further. But my mask is going to cover this well enough. And you want to make sure that your color is really seeping all the way through down onto that shimmery white. And I'm going to turn it this way a bit so that I don't get lines so much right in my pattern. All right, so there we go. So I've basically covered my entire honeycomb with my bumblebee. And then I am going to slide my piece out. So now I have this beautiful honeycomb created on my piece of shimmery white. With that done, I can bring back in my paper that I've been spritzing on, and I am going to lay another mask down over top of this. So instead of stamping an image, I just used an ink pad directly to paper to create my image. And now I'm going to put this beautiful flower mask over top. Grab my water spritzer again, and I have my paper towel on hand. And here we go. We're just going to hold that down. I want to make sure we get some nice clear flowers here. Now spritz those flowers, lift our mask, paper towel, and lift. And voila, we have these beautiful flowers. Oh, I got a little too much water up there, darn it. We have these beautiful flowers all on our honeycomb now. And then I am just going to clean up this mask, because especially that one area where I overspritzed and I've lost my flowers. That's okay. I need somewhere to put my sentiment, so that's where I'll twist this paper around so that my sentiment goes there. All right, and then I just use my paper towel to clean my mask so I don't have any yellow ink on there, and we are good to go. So yeah, that whole idea of creating a mask and then putting ink pad directly to the mask is a really cool one. And you can actually do that with these masks as well. You can just lay them down and ink pad straight onto it, or use blending brushes. You have lots of options with these guys. But yeah, I like that, creating my own mask. All right, so I'm going to let that one dry, and I'm going to bring back in our first one that we created. So as it dried, the image got a lot more solid, and now you can see that really beautiful pattern happening in there. We've also got our blue one. It's almost dry, and you can see as well a really solid, beautiful pattern happening there. So as it dries, the distinction between where the water is and where it wasn't really becomes clear. So to finish these guys all off, we are going to create some labels, and I'm actually going to create all 3 labels for my 3 cards at once. I just have a piece of basic black cardstock here. I am going to bring in my very ancient embossing buddy. If you don't have an embossing buddy, you're going to want to make one using like cornstarch or something like that, just in a little sewn baggie. This just removes all the oils that may be on your paper from your hands and like anything else that may have touched them. And it's going to make the embossing powder stick just to your ink. All right, now I have got 2 sentiments from the Hello Beautiful stamp set that I'm going to use for this one. I've got, this calls for a celebration, and thank you. I just absolutely adore the font that this thank you is written in. So I am going to grab my Versamark, and I'm going to stamp all 3 of these at the same time and Versamark them all up before I add my embossing powder. So I'm just kind of measuring it out in terms of where the dies are going to go around them. So I am spacing them quite far out. And one more. This one I'm going to go this way. So I've probably given them more space than they need, but that's okay. I'd rather have more space and have my things overlapping. So with those 3 sentiments stamped in Versamark, I'm now going to come in and run them through some embossing powder. There we go. And then I've just got a little, I'm just going to tap the back. And then I've got a little tiny paintbrush. I just like, they're not great for painting. Oh, where did it go? Sorry guys. Oh, it's already out beside me. That's why I can't find it. I just got these tiny little paintbrushes from the dollar store. I don't think I'd ever actually paint with them. They don't seem to be very good quality, but the tip is extremely tiny, so it's perfect for just brushing away any excess embossing powder. You can also use the tip of like a paper piercer. That works, just not quite as well. All right, so hopefully, I think my audio will do noise cancellation for you guys when I'm heating this, so hopefully it does, so you don't get deafened. All right, there we go. So we've got all of those stamped. And now we're going to bring in the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and we are going to cut these out. So I think I can actually fit them all on at once. And I am using 3 different tags from our beautiful shapes dies. So I'm just going to lay those over top. Okay, that one like that, and I think that one fits. Oh, I didn't space them as far apart as I thought I did. Ooh, good thing. That was a close call. All right, so I've got those 3 shapes on there. And now we're going to run this through our machine and cut out our 3 labels. There we go. Voila. All right. So what I love about these is that they do a little bit of cutting and a little bit, oh, can I show you guys this? Will it show up? Not sure if I can get the angle. There's just a little bit of embossing around the edge there as well. There we go. You can kind of see it. So it just adds a slight interest to the paper itself. And it's kind of an unusual shape because it's not like a perfect oval or anything. So a little bit eye grabbing that way as well. Plus this set has the circles in it, which is nice. All right, and this little piece also has that slight embossing in there. So you can just see, let me get the angle, there we go. There we go. It has just the slight embossing around the edge as well. So very cool dies, I love those. All right, so there are 3 labels all done. And before we attach these to our card fronts, I'm going to bring in some Simply Elegant trim. So this comes as a 2-pack with silver and gold, and we're actually going to use both on these cards. I'm going to pair them up just slightly different. So with our pink here, I kind of have this big spot that I want to fill up. So instead of putting this like right in the center of my card, I'm actually going to put this down kind of off to the side of my card. So I wonder if maybe I was going to do this one standing tall, but that one didn't get a full pattern. Maybe we'll put the gems there. All right, so I'm going to put this down here to kind of cover up that empty space. But before I put it down, I'm going to grab some of the silver trim, and I'm just going to make a bow with this silver trim. So I haven't even cut it off the roll yet. I'm just trying to like make a bow and size it and everything. And I want it to just stick out slightly on the edges of my circle. So this seems to actually be quite a good size. So now that I've got my size figured out for my bow, I'm just going to trim that. And I'm going to get a mini glue dot. And I like to pick these up with my take your pick tool. That way I don't touch them and lose their stickiness. I'm going to put that, I'm going to put that right down on the knot and then stick it right behind. And before I really kind of push it into place, I'm going to twist it so that it's kind of at the angle I want it at. Okay, and twist my ribbons around. So that ribbon, just slightly different. There we go. So what's nice about this is you kind of have control over where these ribbons are going to fall. And I'm going to put one more glue dot on the back to make sure that that ribbon end stays up where I want it. There we go. So I've kind of decided where I want those and put them exactly how I want them. Now I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of this. Oh, hi, Kathleen. Good morning. How is the weather in Illinois? Oh, we've got just rain, rain, rain here in BC, back to normal. So that's a few more dimensionals than I probably needed. I could have gotten away with 2 there. So with that bow on the back, I am going to pop this onto my card front, just like that. All right, and then I can do a little bit more fiddling with it and get it to sit how I'd like it. All right, so I want that one up like that. There we go. So it's just a little bit of some silver interest in the background. And then I'm going to flip the whole piece over and put dimensionals on the back. So I'm going to do my corners for sure. And then I usually like to do a couple in the middle just to kind of keep it lifted in the center. 15 and sunny. Oh my goodness. That sounds lovely. I think we're 6 and rainy. It is not the nicest day here. Spring has not sprung. All right, now with that done, I should have grabbed this first. I am just going to put this right onto a thick basic white card base. And there we go. We're not quite finished this card yet. We're going to do a little bit, I'm going to close this card nicely with the bone folder. There we go. And then we're going to do a little bit of decorating with some of our in-color jewels. Now, these are actually, it's kind of funny, they're not the retiring colors, and yet these jewels work really, really beautifully with the retiring colors. Oh, hi, Lila. Thanks for joining. So I have got here, this is polished pink, but it actually, the polished pink gems go quite nicely with the Magenta Madness ink. So we're going to pop some of those on, and I'm just going to do like, just kind of a splattering around here. A few down there, and a few more up here. I might actually fill in that little empty spot that I've got. And voila. And so we've just thrown a few gems on there just to give it a little bit more interest. And so these are our 2021 to 2023 in color gems. And that just has a little bit more of a sparkle. And our first card is all done. So Lila, you're going to want to rewatch and see how I created this one because the technique was really quite fun. Oh no, now I think I overwatered my first one, you guys. It's not coming out the way I wanted it to. So we might just quickly grab a piece of that paper and do a second one so it has time to dry while we do the labels on our blue card. So that is something you want to be aware of, is too much water will affect your card. Snow, Shirley. Oh, gross. We had a little bit up on the mountain, but nothing too bad down here. All right. So I'm going to bring back in that piece that I used, that same template. It's still like down on my page. And I'm going to pop that under. And I might actually, the bumblebee came out a bit darker than I had hoped for. So I might actually grab my Daffodil Delight instead. It'll be a much brighter, sunnier yellow. And I'm just going to go straight down over top of my template here. And so what I have done here is I created a template using the hexagon dies from the Beautiful Shape set. And I am literally pushing my ink pad down over top of the template I created. All right. So this one's not going to be quite as dark. I need to re-ink my Daffodil Delight, it looks like. So I'll pull that one out. So this is for anybody who missed it. On the pink and blue cards, I stamped solid images and then laid a mask over and spritzed with water. For this one, I created a mask and inked it up entirely. And then, where did my, oh, I got rid of my wet paper. All right. Here, I'll use this paper towel underneath for spritzing. And then I'm just going to grab a fresh one for dabbing the top. So I did use too much water when I did this last one. So we're just going to quickly redo it. And all of you joining us now will get to see. So with my solid image, whether you stamped it or put an ink pad directly to the page, we're now going to take a mask over top. We're going to take a spritzer filled with water. I'm going to hold that down. And I am going to spritz, and not as much this time. Okay, there we go. Spritz, lift, and dab. And then I'll also clean up my mask at the same time. All right, there we go. Oh yeah, that's much better. Okay, there we go. So, and you can, of course, this video will be in replay, so you'll be able to watch this again to see me do the blue and the pink one, and to watch how much water I used the first time I did this honeycomb one, and see, you know, don't use that much water. The patterns are just really, they're really getting fuzzy and not staying crisp, so it's not going to be a good one. We'll find a different use for that. So there we go. That one will dry up nice and quickly. I might actually just give that a quick little dab, second dab. There we go. All right. And we'll set that off to the side. Oops. All right. So now we'll finish up with our blue card. I've already got the labels created. And so for our blue card, oh, I'm not going to do it in that direction. Maybe I won't do any of them side to side. I was going to do this one in this direction, but then I should have stamped kind of more off to the side. So I think we'll do this one this way as well. And I'm going to put this label down at the bottom as well. But I'm going to pair it up with the gold. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to make that bow, but using the gold cord from the Simply Elegant trim. Oh, thank you, Lila. Yeah, it's a really fun technique. And it's amazing what you can do with the masks. And so I am using shimmery paper for the background though, because if you use just regular basic white paper, it's going to get kind of like warped and everything from the water. And sometimes if you use too much water, it can even like start to pill. It's kind of strange what it does. All right, so we're going to put that one behind like that, I think. So I might want that just a tiny bit bigger. All right, so you just kind of play around with it, get those loops the size that you want. Oh yeah, that's going to work out well. And then I'm going to use mini glue dot to attach this to the back of my piece. So let's see here. There we go. And then you can use a second mini glue dot to kind of get the pieces to stay where you want them if they're not staying. I think those are actually going to work out quite well. All right, so now with that done, I am going to put some dimensionals on the back of this and attach it to my card front. There we go. From Scottsdale. Oh, wonderful. 65 and you call it cold. Oh, no. I know it's different when you're accustomed to warmer temperatures. That would be beautiful. Yeah, it's a very cool technique. I saw Melody Hyde do it. She's one of Stampin' Up's like in-house designers, and she created a little Instagram reel of it the other day. And so I wanted to share it with you guys and show you how easy it is. But also because she did an Instagram reel, there was a little bit of trial and error on my part, even some trial and error during this video. So I wanted you guys to see some of the pitfalls, some of the things to be wary of. The other thing is I wondered why she was using water. So I tried it with rubbing alcohol, like a good 91%, and no, it does not work. So you definitely want to use the water like she does in her Instagram reel and like I have here. The alcohol just doesn't create a really solid image. All right, so again, I used our 2021 in color jewels. This time I used the, what color would that be? That'd be our fresh freesia, and paired it up with the Night of Navy and the gold. So just kind of a fresh little pop there. And then we're going to put this on to our card base using dimensionals. There we go. All right, so get that going, and then our yellow base should be done. And so I did switch from Bumblebee that seemed to come out a little bit more brown to a Daffodil Delight, so we have a really sunny base. All right, and again, a thick white card base. We'll pop that on just like that. And then I'm going to grab my bone folder and really close that card up. All right, voila, just like that. And now for our last one, I'm going to grab my card base and give it a good fold, give our yellow a little bit more time to dry before I start working with it. So there, I just keep a whole stack of these guys. A little time-saving tip for you. When I get my thick, basic white cardstock into the house, I take it straight over to my Simply Score pad. I score it all, I cut it all, and I leave it in flat stacks of scored paper. I do both this direction and kind of the long with the fold there. And I just keep stacks of it ready to go. That way when I'm making cards, I don't have to stop to create my white bases. And I have to stop to create if I'm going to use a colored base. And even at that, I keep some Coastal Cabana always cut because I use a lot of Coastal Cabana. All right. Now for our last one, we've got a cute little thank you here. I'm going to use it to cover up that little darker spot that we had on that. And so I'm going to make a little bit of a smaller gold bow here. So using, again, that Simply Elegant trim. It comes in gold and silver. And let's see. Oh, that's a little too big for this guy. Okay. There we go. Trim that up. I can put those off to the side now. And we're going to get, I'm going to trim that end as well. There we go. We're going to get a mini glue dot to stick this to the back of our sentiment. Oh, come on. There we go. And do like that. Give it a little twist a bit maybe. There we go. Pull that guy over like that. Okay, and then I'm going to pop two little dimensionals on the back. I put them down over here. There we go. And so you could do a ton of these in different colors, different patterns, you know, and it's kind of an easy assembly line one as well, because like I did, you can make all of your sentiment labels all up at once and then make all your bases and have some like just a fun creative time making background and then put it all together later. So it's like, it's really nice that way that you could just create a bunch of these backgrounds and then use them as you see fit. All right, so that one's going to go on there, and then we'll add some in color jewels because the bumblebee jewels look really beautiful on this. All right. So here we go. This one is still just a tad bit wet as I'm touching it. I can feel the dampness, so I'm not going to play around with it too much, but there we go. Pop that on there. Okay, and then we'll bring in our 2020 in color jewels and pop that on. So, and actually this is pale papaya and not bumblebee, because right, these are not the retiring in color jewels. All right. So this is pale papaya, but it goes beautifully with the daffodil delight here. And we'll pop that up there. And another one up there. And voila, we are finished our third card. So I'm just going to move some stuff out of the way here so that I can bring in all three cards and show you our finished product. So I used the water spritzer to create these, some 2021 in color jewels, and then of course some masks to do the overlay. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed learning the technique. I don't often case other demos in these workshops, but this technique was just way too beautiful to not. Yeah, so that is our workshop today. So just kind of a recap of how you can get in on playing with this. If you're in Canada and place a $60 order with me, I will actually send you a package of spritzers and all the paper and ribbon and embellishment bits to create these cards. And yeah, and then you can go ahead and start creating. So you'll want to grab yourself some masks and either some dies or some stamp sets to create that big, beautiful background and have fun with that. I also have a door prize draw. The link is in the description of this video and in another post in the discussion on the event. And you can enter to win these three cards, and I'll send them off in the mail to you. And you can be anywhere to enter that one. You don't have to be in Canada for that one. Yeah, so that is about it. Thank you so much, everyone. And I do these workshops once a month, usually on the second Saturday of the month. So watch for another one coming up in April. I'm also live every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. on my page, the Stampin' Pad, or just type in Stampin' with Leah and you'll be able to find me. You can also find my blog at stampinwithleah.ca. And I post most everything there, and like this project will be posted up there with dimensions and everything probably by tomorrow. Oh, thank you, Catherine. Thanks, Lila, Noelle, Betty. That's awesome. Thank you, Rondi. It's great having you guys all on here. I love being able to teach people new techniques. And when I saw this one, I knew I had to play with it. So I hope you guys have as much fun with it as I do. And, you know, if you have a few flubs, don't worry about it. I went through my fair share of paper last night trying to learn the technique and all the little things about it. And you know what? I'll be able to use those. I'll cut out letters or something from an alphabet die set with the ones that didn't fully work out. And I'll still be able to use those bits. So it's all good. You guys have a great day, and ordering for this workshop will be open until Monday evening. I'm on spring break, so I'll be able to do a little bit of prep and packing up during the week instead of having to try and cram everything into the weekends. Yeah, so that is about it. Have a great Saturday, everyone. Happy spring break to those of you who have it.